Hello again. I am Sifu Avi of Chinese Dragon Kempo Kung Fu, and it is an honor and privilege to be with all of you today. Today we're going to continue our curriculum. Excuse me, if you can hear that, I apologize for that. There's some work going on next door, so I just wanted to let you be aware of that if you hear some noise. We're going to continue with our practice under the white belt curriculum. And today we're going to focus on more of the Kung Fu aspect of this art. And this comes directly from my Kung Fu training when I was in New York many, many years ago. And again, I incorporated it all into my, my training with Chinese Kempo as well. So I was doing multiple martial arts simultaneously when I was training. I'd also dabble in other little things like Ishin-Ryu, Jiu-Jitsu, Judo, combat Hapkido. So I could try to be the most diverse as a martial artist as I could be. But the two forms of martial arts that I love best was definitely Korean Kung Fu and Chinese Kempo. And they're very similar in their aspects. I'm not a great grappler, and I'm not a great someone who does really great joint locks. That is definitely a specialty area, and I would definitely encourage all of you to explore that as you continue with your martial arts journey. So the next thing I want to demonstrate to you is something that my Kung Fu instructor, Sabonim, would teach us, and it was called Tan Tei. And Tan Tei is, I believe in Chinese, Tan Tui, but in Korean it translated as Tan Tei. And Tan Tei means springing legs. That's all it is. In Kung Fu, Tan Tei were self-defense techniques. They were balancing both right and left hemispheres of the brain, right and left portions of the body, and they were often done in sections and also full speed and power. But the really interesting thing about Tan Tei is that once you've learned all of them, you would string them together and they would make a form. In Chinese Dragon Kempo Kung Fu, there are, I believe, about 13 Tan Tei that we have to go through. I'm going to show you the first Tan Tei, and then we're going to practice on the right side and on the left side. And then you take the Tan Tei and you move back and forth as you practice it. I'll teach you all that as we move on throughout the curriculum. So the first Tan Tei is referred to as entering the dragon. And entering the dragon is also, in the next video, what I'm going to demonstrate is a self-defense technique. And there are 3 different self-defense techniques that come off of this Tan Tei. And we're learning the last portion, the last self-defense technique. But I'm not going to tell you what it's for. I'm only going to show you what it is. So the Tan Tei goes like this. It is a double forearm block to start with. So we start here, we bow, and we're going to move to the right side first. And it's nothing more than a double arm forearm block. That's all it is. And you are blocking with the knife edge of your forearm. So it's coming like this. The next part is a revolving hammer to end with a low side kick. Reset. And you can see that I'm going into what is a fighting position. So we'll do it again. We're going to go to we always start from the right side first. 1, hut, 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 2, 3, reset. 1, hut, 2, hut, 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 3, hut, reset. That is the first Tan Tei, entering the dragon. And you're going to see this Tan Tei as we move along into self-defense techniques. All right. Again, when we start out with 1, hey, 1, hut, 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 2. Revolving hammer is considered just one motion altogether. 3, hey, low side kick. Again, 1, hut, 2, hut, 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 3, hut, reset. 3 motions. 3 steps. I should say there are more motions than there are steps. This is the traditional part of this martial art. And what I'm trying to instruct is some basic real-life self-defense techniques that you can use as I incorporate some of the traditional martial arts from Chinese Kempo and from Korean Kung Fu, Sepulki. Again, we'll do it one more time. We start from the, we always go to the right side first. And I lost my microphone. We're going to do that again. Again, the videos I'm making, I'm not going to edit. That will not be edited out, okay? I don't have the time to edit all the videos and to make them as pretty as I possibly can. Again, you know why? In martial arts, sometimes things aren't very pretty. When you're fighting, things are not pretty. When you're in a self-defense technique, a self-defense altercation, it's not pretty. Things go wrong. If you can avoid a fight, do it. Because the chances of you getting hurt have just increased exponentially. You may hurt that person, but that person may hurt you as well. You may get out of the fight, out of the altercation, but you might get stabbed. You never know. Something can always go wrong. All right? Again, just like my microphone falling off, you never know what's going to happen. Again, we're going to do entering the dragon. This is Tan Tei number 1. This is actually a ready position. Hut, 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 huh. Hut, 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 huh. And then we're ready for the next one, which we'll do in the orange belt series. All right, now against the dummy itself, against the heavy bag. You see I have a hand here. I don't know if you can see that here. No, you cannot see. Let me move the bag. There we go. In truth, that's really what it is. But I'll demonstrate that more when we do the self-defense technique itself. So we're basically here. Hut, 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 hut. Ah! Other side. Here. Again, most times you might be in a self-defense like, hey, hey, hey. Hut, 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 hut. Ah! I am definitely stronger on my right side. It feels more natural for me. So I have to practice more on my left side. Hut, 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 ah! And again, use that expression of prana, of chi coming out of you. That's what it's for. Scare your opponent. Become an animal, more of an animal than he is or that she is when that person is coming to attack you. I usually say the masculine pronoun, he, because Unfortunately, in society, most of the attacks are coming from masculine sides, okay, of energy, which is basically men. Men are usually doing all the attacking. Unfortunately, that's the case. But I want to try to balance it and say both he and she, because this is the society we live in. The consciousness of humanity is changing, okay? The elevation, this is the philosophy of Chinese Dragon Kempo Kung Fu as well. The philosophy is this, that the consciousness of human beings is changing. I look at it as it's expanding. It's becoming more expansive. And as it becomes more expansive, the female energy is rising so that it can equalize itself with the male energy. Both come together in peace one day. One day. That's where we are headed. However, in the meantime, we will continue to practice our Chinese Dragon Kempo Kung Fu as we expand our own consciousness and become better human beings. Again, we're going to go review that just quickly. Entering the Dragon, Tan Tei number 1, under the white belt curriculum, Chinese Dragon Kempo. And we relax into it. Hut, 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 ha! Hut, 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 ha! I am Sifu Avi. It is an honor and privilege to be with all of you great souls today. Remember, stay in peace, stay in grace, stay in gratitude, stay in love. Share these qualities of who you are as a human being with others. Teach others because you love teaching. Stay humble. Shalom.